Day?
Yes, National Stress Awareness Day. And like I was telling Chelsea here, stress is one of the big killers. 70% of U.S. adults feel stress and anxiety.
Yeah. Wow.
And stress actually, according to the CDC, kills 110 million people a year. Stress.
Holy cow.
Granted, it's stress-related diseases,
Sure.
but that could range from heart disease to stroke. I mean, so many different things, and stress really has a huge impact on our health.
Wowza. Yeah, it's just true. I think stress is something that is really, really serious, and it can take a toll. We're studying the science here at YouSurance and at the U of M here in Minneapolis about the actual science and implications of stress and behind stress, and then the toll that takes on your body and the way that your genes are even expressed because of high stress situations or things you go through. So not only financial stress, but mental stress as well. And it's something that was really heavy on our hearts. We really, really, really want to solve.
Well, and what's even crazier is not only does stress affect your health in a very negative way and your mental well-being, but then it can be passed on to your children and your children's children. And I don't mean just because they're around you and you're stressed out. Genetically, you can pass on trauma to your ancestors. So the more stressed you are, and if you go through really stressful situations and don't find ways to handle it, you can actually pass that on. And that's the biggest motivation for me to say, you always need to manage that stress.
That's right. And we're seeing that passed down from generation to generation.
Right.
I saw that interesting study that was done about even Holocaust victims and all the stress that their bodies went through.
Absolutely.
Physically, emotionally, mentally, all of those things, and that it's still living in people's genetics and still expressing in people's genes today.
Absolutely.
It's crazy. So, Hannah, enlighten us a little. What can we do to, if we have stress in our lives, if we're going through certain times, what are a couple things that we can all do to better ourselves and to try to eliminate some stress?
Sure. So I did some research, of course.
Yes.
And Healthline, who is one of my favorite healthy content providers, came up with 16 ways to relieve stress and anxiety. Mm-hmm. And this is a really great list. I try to do many of these things myself, but some of them I had forgotten or never really invested much time into. And so it's a great reminder. One of the biggest things you can do, of course, is to exercise.
Yes.
And that's kind of, it goes without saying. But in addition to actually working out that stress, it also helps to lower your stress hormones in your body. So it's actually physiologically changing what your body's doing on a chemical level. And then you're also releasing endorphins, which make you feel great. It's like the natural drug that your body releases. So those are just from a chemical perspective. It really makes you feel good.
Yes. And it's so true. Sometimes when I'm the most stressed, I'm like, I don't have time to exercise, or because of the stress, I'm feeling extra tired in the morning and not having the energy to go work out. But every single time you do, your ideas are flowing, you're letting things go, you really are taking care mentally of some things. And then physically too, when I'm really, really stressed, like I said, I start to feel tired. I start to feel, a little bit more down.
Exactly.
And working out really helps, bring that back, boost it up, and you are feeling more energized. It gives you more, even in the workplace, I feel more alert. I feel more, I personally thrive more on days that I work out in the morning.
Sometimes you just got to sweat it out.
Yeah, sweat it out.
And that really helps. And also, in addition to the chemical boosts you get and just making you feel better in general, it improves your sleep quality.
Yeah, that's very true.
If you're getting good sleep, you're not going to be quite as stressed out. And it boosts your confidence.
Yes.
And that's huge. If you're feeling pretty down or stressed out, having that confidence boost can make all the difference.
Very true. All right, so let's get moving, people.
Let's get moving. So the next one is near and dear to my heart. It's something I do practice, which is considering taking supplements. Now, obviously, everyone is different, and depending on your body and your health conditions, your medications, all of those different things, you should definitely consult a doctor.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of simple supplements that can really help you to feel better and fight stress. Some of the more common ones are lemon balm, which is great in tea.
Nice.
Omega-3 fatty acids,
Yes.
which you can get either by taking supplements or by eating cold water fish, like salmon, but you want wild caught. Usually it's not going to be Atlantic, just saying. And you want sardines, herring, pretty much the fish that the Scandinavians eat. All of those are really good for omega-3 fatty acids. Ashwagandha, which is an herb used in Ayurvedic medicine.
Yeah.
You can usually find that in teas or herbal supplements that you take like a pill. Green tea, which we know and love here at YouSurance.
Yes.
We drink a lot of green tea.
Lots.
Valerian, which actually I for many years have consumed valerian root tea off and on, which just going to warn you out there, if you want to try this, it stinks.
Yeah.
So you'll kind of want to avoid sniffing deeply because, as my grandfather once said when I offered some to him, it smells like poo, but it really helps calm you down. And kava kava,
Okay.
which is another great herb. It's kind of focused on the Polynesian countries and does a lot to boost your mood.
Nice. So most of these supplements, the majority of your list were actually teas. So, consuming the teas, that's super easy. I think some people get a little more scared about taking pills and supplements, and
Absolutely.
a lot of it just organically through teas I think we can consume. And then the other thing is just, knowing, for me personally, it's hard to know. There's so many supplements and everything you read is different.
Right.
And so something I personally found really valuable when taking the epigenetic test at YouSurance was actually finding supplements that worked best for me and
Absolutely.
my unique combination of genetics and my epigenetics. And I really, really, really would suggest that to anyone kind of lost or just starting in the supplements. Great test to do. And
for sure.
figuring that out. At least for me, it gave me very clear direction, simple things I can do, 2, 3. That's all you have to focus on. And
Absolutely.
Just tiny steps.
Well, and also just knowing yourself, knowing your body, and knowing it on a molecular level is incredibly helpful. I just recently, through some genetic testing, found out that I don't process or take in as much D6, I think it was D6, and also B12. So that tells me on a molecular level that I need to either be having those vitamins tested when I go to the doctor and or taking supplements appropriately or eating the right combination of foods to take in enough of those. Usually on a molecular level, if you're not taking in enough of those vitamins, you're probably going to need to subsidize it with a supplement or even a shot. B12 shots are fairly common these days. So really it's just knowing yourself, knowing what works for you, working with your doctor to create a plan. And also doing whatever you can to get supplements, vitamins, and minerals through food, through tea. And the more tea you drink, the more hydrated you are. So it's kind of like doubly beneficial.
Completely agree. Awesome. Okay, so get active and exercise and then take supplements. What's number 3?
So this really probably is my favorite, which is aromatherapy.
Yes.
All about the good smells.
Cool. Light those candles.
Light those candles. Use essential oils. Find what calms you down, what works for you. Everyone's different. But really, it's been proven that candles and essential oils can reduce stress and anxiety. And there's a huge list that are helpful. Whether you buy a blend from Whole Foods or your local store that's like stress relief or anxiety relief. They've got tons of things like that out there. Or whether you go directly for some of the stress relieving essential oils like lavender, which is one of my favorites, vetiver, rose, bergamot, sandalwood. Love how that smells.
Oh, me too.
Huge list of those.
Yeah, and I think this has been a booming movement. You're seeing it all over social media and people selling this from their homes, but it's because it's really working. You know, these oils have been around for centuries. It's just becoming more popular in everyday culture in the last maybe 5 years, or maybe even longer. But personally, I'm all about the essential oils. I love candles, just even taking a bath and soaking.
So relaxing.
Oh, it's so relaxing. And, sometimes just those scents can really take down your anxiety and your stress levels from, 10 to 3. So
absolutely.
If you haven't already, definitely give that a try. And, you can support some local small business owners trying to make some sales, but very, very, very worth it.
If you're new to essential oils, I would definitely recommend buying a blended oil that's already pre-made, has clear instructions that you just, add a drop here or there or spray it on your wrist or whatever it is. You do want to be careful with straight essential oils because they can burn you or damage your skin. You could be allergic. So you always want to use those following careful instructions to use just a tiny bit. And usually you're going to blend that into coconut oil or some other sort of base that you can dissolve the essential oil into.
Yeah, so I like your idea of starting with blends or even diffusers and do less skin contact and just, I have one actually in my shower. So when I get up, I have like the awakening ones and it just comes out and steams while I'm showering. And
I love that.
It's amazing. So, small little steps like that, but
absolutely.
Scents are great. Okay, so aromatherapy, number 3. Number 4.
Reduce that caffeine.
This is the one I don't like. Isn't it funny or counterintuitive that when you're stressed at work or you're feeling, down, I'm like, I need my caffeine. I need my coffee today.
Yes.
But it really does add to stress, anxiety. You can kind of, sometimes I get the extra heartbeat going. Well, the last thing I need.
Caffeine is sort of a funny one. It's kind of a gray area because it really depends on you and your own body.
Yeah.
So, for example, just knowing my own body, I know that I can drink a pot of coffee before I go to sleep.
Yeah.
And still sleep like a log.
Well, it's funny because your genetic results actually said that your genes have a higher tolerance for caffeine or process it faster or something.
So for me, when I'm stressed out or anxious, drinking coffee really doesn't affect me. But I do know that drinking alcohol brings on anxiety and stress for me.
Really?
So it's really just knowing your body. If you're someone who can handle a lot of caffeine, then you probably don't need to worry about it. Yeah. But if you're someone that drinks, 1 cup of like half and half decaf and gets heart palpitations, you should probably avoid caffeine if you're feeling stressed out.
Sure. And I think it's just, listening to your body when you're feeling that anxiety. Try a tea instead, even if it's caffeinated. Sometimes even the blend, but decaf tea over a coffee. I think, at least for me, that's super.
Oh, sure.
Easy way to reduce the caffeine intake. Easy way to not jump right to the coffee, anyway.
Or even green tea. You can get many green teas are caffeinated, but because green tea also lowers stress and anxiety.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have nearly as much caffeine as coffee, then you're still getting a little bit of caffeine to feed that need, but you're not taking in so much that it's stressing you out.
Yeah. All right. We're not saying don't drink coffee.
Right.
I'm a big coffee drinker. Just when you're really stressed or you feel anxious, maybe those aren't the best times to drink coffee. And sometimes I do. I jump to it. So.
And really just knowing your body. I mean, I know caffeine really doesn't affect me. So I can drink coffee all day long. When I'm calm, when I'm stressed, it really doesn't make a difference.
Yeah.
So just know your body.
Yeah.
So, of course, Another one of my favorites, writing, and especially when you combine that with aromatherapy and candles. Hello, that's like a party for me.
Hashtag dream afternoon for Hannah. I love it.
So really, it's just whether you're journaling, doing a daily journal practice, whether you're doing a daily gratitude practice, writing down 3 things you're thankful for as soon as you wake up.
Yes.
Whether you're just journaling when you feel stressed and writing out what's stressing you out.
Yes.
And just doing a stream of consciousness. You don't have to solve the problems on paper.
Yes.
But just getting it out is a huge help in stress relief.
I couldn't agree more. You know me, I'm a designer, not a writer.
Yes.
But so it's less of a creative expression and more for me when I'm feeling anxious. And actually, I do this every day. I'm big into affirmations and gratitude. So every morning I start my day and every day I end my day that way. But then just even making my to-do list, being practical. Sometimes I have to cut it down, being very realistic with myself and writing those down and then crossing them off. There's something to that lowers my anxiety, my stress level for the day, and just being thoughtful about your plans and what your intentions are for the day. Simple things like that can actually totally rebalance you out, retrain your mind to be like, okay, I really only have 3 things to do today.
Absolutely.
You know, small things, breaking down big complex things into small things.
Absolutely.
Or if you're feeling very emotionally stressed about something, write a letter to yourself or write a letter. I've literally gotten through dark times in my life by writing as my future self, like feeling happy and excited. And again, it's not a creative expression. I would never share that with anyone, but just going through that can get you out of some stressful times and into a better place.
Oh, sure. And you can write a letter to somebody else if they're stressing you out.
Yes.
And you don't feel like you can have that tough conversation with them right now or ever. So write them a letter that you never intend to send. Don't do it in email because it's too easy to press send. But just take out your notebook, write exactly how you're feeling. And then you never even have to send that letter. But at least you got it off your chest. And that's really helpful.
It's a really big part of healing. If you've ever been to counseling or therapy, you know, a big part of healing is just getting all those things and expressing them out. And then what I love about writing it instead of just talking is you can really read into, okay, well, why did I pick these words and what did that mean? And you can work through some complicated things by
It gives you a
writing.
great overall picture of your well-being from month to month, year to year, and you can really see your progress and see kind of what are my triggers, what really stresses me out, and what actually brings me back to earth and makes me feel good again.
Love that.
Yes.
I love that. Yes. So definitely a very, very cheap solution here too. Just grab a 35-cent notebook and, you know, start a journal. I think it's super smart.
Absolutely.
Cool.
And so next one, another super easy one, chew some gum. Now, again, this is not for everyone. If you have severe TMJ or jaw problems.
Or if you chew with your mouth open. No, I'm kidding.
Or if you have braces, you know, we're not saying chew gum no matter what. But it has been proven that chewing gum is a quick and easy way to relieve stress. And in addition to that, I was reading that you should chew your gum vigorously. The harder and stronger you chew that gum, the more stress it's going to relieve. So if you see someone smacking that gum, they might just be stressed. So don't judge.
And if you're an emotional eater like me, don't be stress eating. Put in a piece of gum.
Yes.
Easy, quick solution.
Sugar-free gum, so you're not rotting out your teeth.
Yep, exactly.
Yes,
love
absolutely.
That one. That's very simple.
Super simple. And so another one, big obvious one, but I think one that we often forget, especially when we're stressed, spend time with your family and friends.
Yes, yes.
They bring you back to earth.
Yes.
They give you comfort and joy. It helps you to have a sense of belonging and a sense of self-worth.
Yeah, and support through hard, difficult times.
And also just, and this is particularly true in women, but it helps your body to release oxytocin, which is another feel-good chemical that your body releases naturally. And so, and that's particularly true of hugging and cuddling. So, go hug your mom or your best friend, and you're going to feel better just right away.
Definitely. Love that one.
And this kind of ties into the last one, which is laughter.
Yes.
We do laugh a lot at YouSurance.
Yeah. And maybe too much so. A lot of times at ourselves.
Yes. Usually at ourselves. I don't think you can ever have too much laughter.
Yeah.
But really, laughing relieves your stress response. It relieves tension just by relaxing the muscles in your face.
Yeah.
It's like a physical phenomenon that happens when you're laughing and smiling, and it improves your immune system and your mood. So it costs you nothing.
It costs you nothing. And I think you can laugh at anything, but find a funny show to watch, or
Absolutely.
Listen to a funny story that brings you back somewhere, or call a friend who always seems to like have something funny and traumatic to tell you, or whatever it is, but seriously can really change stress. I know in our workplace things were moving at 1,000 miles an hour, and it would be so easy for us to just sit and be stressed or worried or anxious during the day. But we really make an effort to, like, multiple times a day, remind each other of funny things. Or Clint has a notepad filled with dad jokes, and he's always going around the office, and that it really, really does brighten our day. And
really does.
So, as much as corny as it is, and we don't want to toot his horn any more than he should.
I do love the dad jokes.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for the dad joke for sure.
I mean, whether it's if you have a commute to work, find a funny podcast to listen to.
Yes,
especially after a long, stressful day. Pop that on the train home and just enjoy some chuckles. It's going to help you feel better. I follow several hilarious Twitter feeds. And I mean, just something as simple as you're on your phone anyways.
Yes.
Find some funny stuff on social media.
Love it.
I mean, quick and easy.
Nothing like a good meme.
Absolutely. Especially if it's a cat eating pizza.
A cat eating pizza.
You know
meme.
Me so well.
I know, exactly. Love.
Now, this one I think is especially true, well, for everyone, but for you, I think it's very timely, which is learning how to say no.
Yes, yep.
And not taking on too much.
Yes. I think it's easy to do. I think when you get stressed, it's usually because you've taken on a lot, or you're trying to juggle a lot of things, and then all of a sudden you're like, how did I get here, and how am I so overwhelmed?
Yes.
And it does. It takes serious discipline to say, you know what, I'm at my max. This is what I can do. I can't do that till next week. Or
Absolutely.
I need some help, and raise your hand and say, I could really use a partner to help me do X, Y, Z. And it takes some serious work.
Yes.
At least for me. This is definitely my weakness.
It's definitely, I mean, that is a big part of the reason I usually don't take on freelance work, because I know myself well enough to know that I like to give my all to YouSurance when I'm here, and then I want to go home and kind of just be able to do whatever.
Yeah.
Whether it's doing some writing in my journal with my candles lit, or working out, taking a walk, whatever it is. I don't want to feel forced to have to do some more work.
Yeah, I think it's hard. I think the world needs more dreamers and doers, and I can't help it. That's what's on my heart, and I'm always trying to help everyone figure out their next thing.
Yes.
But it does take time, at least to slow down and say, I at least need to make the X amount of hours in my day to do me. And so what's that going to mean? And what can I prioritize and say no to?
And again, that's the big one, knowing yourself.
Yeah.
I know that personally, I really struggle when I take on too much. So I've just made it pretty much a hard and fast rule to say no. You know you like to take on the extra stuff, but you probably need to give yourself more time.
Yep, definitely.
To get it done. So really just knowing what works for you and protecting yourself.
Right. Yeah. And I think, when we share this list with everyone, I think there's some that you're definitely doing and some that you need a little extra help. And, leave your comments down below, because we would love to know, which of these really resonate with you and which ones you find the hardest.
Absolutely.
Because we all struggle with them too. So
Absolutely.
this one's definitely my struggle.
This next one is my big struggle, which is avoiding procrastination.
Oh, yeah.
That is definitely a challenge for me, because especially when it comes to like something I'm doing for myself, my own creative writing at home, or cleaning out my closet and donating all the stuff I don't wear, that kind of stuff. I always want to wait until it's like the right moment. I need to wait for the right inspiration or to be in the right headspace to do something. And there's always like a reason. If things aren't perfect, I feel like I can't start that project. And so that's always a big struggle for me, that comes from wanting so much to make sure it's perfect. So I'm always working on this one.
See, for me, I love to take on projects, so it's less about that, but it's more like things like doing my taxes, which I waited till the last week to do.
Yes.
It's like I really don't want to do my taxes, and then I push it off, and then all of a sudden I'm all stressed, and I couldn't remember my password, so I had to call TurboTax, and I'm like, why did I put this extra stress on myself in an already stressful situation?
Absolutely.
When I had 4 months to do it. So
exactly.
We all need a little help there. Give yourself some grace.
And that actually goes back to what we were talking about with writing and journaling. You talked about how you like to make to-do lists, and that is something that they suggested to help you avoid procrastination, which is to have a to-do list, organize it by priority, and have realistic deadlines.
Yeah, I think so smart. And even in that example about doing your taxes, like I knew I had 4 months to do it.
Right.
But, so I had a 4-month timeline.
Yes.
Was it the top priority for the first month? No. But it's a pretty big priority in my life. So I probably could have made time. And had I put it on my list the second I knew about it, I definitely wouldn't have been carrying it over for 4 months.
Exactly.
So smart to think ahead when making your lists about things that are due, that and this happens in work all the time too. It's like, we know we're going to this conference. It is not going to change. So let's work backwards from that date.
Exactly.
And do small things that lead up to that instead of waiting till the last minute to do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I really think the to-do list is key. And I've started doing that based on your suggestion, because I definitely always need that help.
Well, and it feels good to check things off and get stuff done. I think, especially if it was something stressful, it's like, now it's done.
Exactly.
It's like you're slashing that away, and you got to put it in your past. And there's something to that I think feels really great.
So no more procrastinating.
We'll hold each other accountable to that one, but and I think, again, give yourself some grace. We all procrastinate certain things in our life. It's just about, okay, when I start to see trends, how can I get better about that?
Exactly. So another fun one is yoga.
Yes, yoga.
Which has become so much more popular.
Yes.
And it's easy to do. There are a million different types of yoga, from super easy beginner's yoga to hot yoga where you're sweating in like 100-degree room and working hard. So
yeah, and I think something fun about yoga is that it's a physical expression of feelings. So if you are stressed and anxious, you kind of like physically get to help see that manifest out. And then mentally, you're really practicing some really good mental thoughts and thinking through things in a calm, creative way. It feels very, very good.
Absolutely.
I've never left yoga being like, oh man, I wish I didn't I always feel better and less stressed.
I mean, you're stretching and moving your body, so it's a form of exercise.
Yes.
You're getting sweat. You're also focused on your breath.
Yes.
And that is
breathing.
A big stress relief.
Yes.
It increases body and breath awareness. It enhances your mood, and it's a natural antidepressant.
Yes.
So yoga, you can do it at home. You can find free yoga videos on YouTube or on the internet, on your phone. You don't have to pay to go to expensive classes, and you really don't need anything other than a mat or a way to make sure your feet aren't slipping, and maybe a belt, which who doesn't have a belt, and then a block, which you could substitute for a book or a lot of different things to just kind of help you with that.
Yeah. Great one.
And then, of course, that ties into the next one, which is mindfulness.
Ah, yes.
And I mean, I know for me, when I'm stressed, usually it's because I'm worried about something in the future.
Yeah.
Not because I'm worried about something in the present.
Ah, interesting.
So for me, it's always very important in those stressful moments to focus on my breath and to really try to bring myself back to the moment so that I'm not focused on something in the future that I can't change. All you can do is focus on the present moment and make sure you're handling things in that moment.
Yeah, I think your mindset is everything. Being positive in the times of stress can really, really, and honestly, I've found this in creative problem solving a lot, is if I'm feeling really stressed or I can't figure something out or frustrated, I will write it out, and then I will go item by item and say, what's the positive part of this? Or what's the best way I could think, and really changing your mindset to be only positive. You can't say anything negative about it.
Absolutely.
You can't, if you're trying to problem solve something, don't think about what you can't do. Only focus on the positives. And it is amazing what mindfulness can do through a stressful situation. I mean, and I'm talking like stressful, like a financial situation that you're in that you can't get out of, a creative problem at work, or a situation that is outside of your control, but just changing your mindset to see only the positive in it, I guarantee it will lower your stress levels about the situation. So, and that's hard to do.
It is.
And sometimes, when we're stressed and we're down, it becomes this cycle where you can't get out of the negativity and the stress and the anxiety, and all of a sudden, I mean, it's physically, you're looking stressed, you're not able to sleep, it's physically affecting you, and just simply changing your mindset and doing that as a habit
absolutely
can pull you out of that negative spiral.
I really love your idea, too, of writing it down and kind of going through and writing out the problem and then the positive side of that, because that's really a physical manifestation, and that's also doing something that's very practical to kind of pull you out of that headspace of stressing out and freaking out over something. So great idea there.
Yeah, I think sometimes when you hear mindfulness, people are kind of woo-woo-y about it, and I really do think of it as a solution-based. If you really think about just the positive way and you don't even let fear get in the way, don't let the negative, oh, well, I could do this, but this isn't the right, how many times have we gotten ourselves in that situation? And instead it's like, no, this is all positive exercise. I personally have done that. I know our CFO, he was going through a really, really difficult time trying to figure out and crunch our numbers for one of our financial problems that we were dealing with at our company. And he did that same exercise, wrote it all out, and then only said, like, well, what would be the best way I could do this? And by the end of it, like, the most beautiful thing ended up happening, and it was very practical, and he's the most analytical person that I know. So, I think don't feel like mindfulness is this buzzy word and people are just about affirmations and dreaming things into reality. It's like, just change your mindset and think through things in a different way, and don't let the stress and anxiety get to you.
Huge.
So
the next one's a little bit easier, a little bit more fun, perhaps, which is cuddling.
Yay, spooning.
We kind of mentioned it when we talked about spending time with friends and family.
Yeah.
But cuddling and touching actually does release chemicals in your body that makes you feel better. So does eating dark chocolate. So maybe eat some dark chocolate while you're cuddling.
Ooh, that sounds good. No, I love this one. And me as a single person, I think, just even hanging around little kids who are hugging and you get to do things, or like you said, hugging people that matter, or having a pet, cuddling a little puppy. There's something that, like, I'm literally smiling just thinking about it. So I think little things like that, cuddling really helps human connection, and in a world that's so digital, let's love each other and spoon each other a bit more.
Exactly. Obviously, don't do anything inappropriate. Don't give unwanted cuddles to anyone. That's called sexual harassment. But hug the people you love, hug the people in your life, your family, your friends, your pets. I mean, it's okay to hug each other.
The world needs more hugs. So let's spread some hugs, not negativity.
Exactly.
Love it.
And so while you're cuddling and eating that dark chocolate, you might want to put on some soothing music.
Ah, yes.
To add to your candlelight and your aromatherapy.
Yes.
Soothing music is definitely helpful. And obviously, everyone's different. You know what soothes you.
Yeah.
If you don't, listen to a bunch of different types of music.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there are plenty of free services out there where you can select a mood or an artist and then follow it and find some new artists based on that.
Yeah, I love that about Spotify and Pandora right now, that you can, without even paying for it, you can go in and say, I need calm, or I need something that'll help me fall asleep.
Absolutely.
Those are great. And then, the meditation apps too that have some sound to them.
Sure.
I think those, I've gotten the best nights of sleep through stressful times by just practicing and listening to things while I fall asleep. So huge.
Absolutely.
Very impactful.
So down to the last few, but deep breathing.
Deep breathing.
Super important. A lot of these tips will induce deep breathing or require deep breathing, such as yoga.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the best things you can do if you're feeling really stressed or anxious, just stop for a moment and take a few deep breaths.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That will help so much.
Yes. And I see this a lot. We need to remind kids to do this.
Yes.
There's a lot of stress and anxiety and worry as young kids.
And just energy, too.
And energy. And just helping them practice some deep breathing. It helps them sleep better.
Yes.
It'll help them not feel stress and anxiety. Kids should be kids, but it's something that you can really start teaching the younger generation really, really
Absolutely.
early. I mean, most of these things are. That one just for some reason ring a bell. That it's not just for us.
Not just for us, and that's where I think it's so helpful to teach children yoga.
Yeah.
Because that
Totally.
does focus on your breath. It
Totally.
teaches you how to breathe. And there are more and more classes for children popping up and videos for children online. My sister has taught yoga to children for years.
I love that.
And they seem to do really well with it.
Yeah, I think so. And, being in tune with your body from a young age is very, very good. And your mind.
Absolutely.
And your breathing. So,
exactly.
Excellent. If you have children out there.
And of course, we already touched on the final one, which is having pets.
Yes.
And spending time with pets. Maybe you don't live somewhere that you could have pets.
Yep.
But that doesn't mean you can't volunteer and spend time at the Humane Society or go to the local cat cafe or walk your friend's dog, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Spend time with some sort of critter that you can cuddle and, just enjoy.
Furry friends sometimes are the best friends.
They really are. I know I pick up my kitties first thing in the morning and before bed, and they'll be purring, and I just hold them to my chest and feel and hear the purring, and it's so soothing, and just your day melts away. It's one of the best things.
Yeah, I think, and I love your advice. If you can't have a pet for whatever reason, spending time, who doesn't love, a good puppy? And there's animals out there that need the love and attention. And so just go play with one for a day.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, do you mind just quickly going through the whole list real quick, just so any listeners out there who didn't follow along and write them, let's make them a quick list. And then, like I said, leave some comments. Let us know, maybe we should do your top one and then the one that you need to work on the most. And let's help each other and stay accountable for a little bit.
Absolutely. So don't forget, you're going to exercise.
Number 1, exercise.
Get moving.
Yes.
You're going to consider supplements.
Number 2, supplements.
And it's as easy as finding some teas, making sure you're eating cold water fish and getting your omega-3s. Really just focusing, I would say focus on teas, because that's going to be probably one of the cheapest, easiest things you can do.
Yeah, I agree.
Aromatherapy.
All
light those candles, get those essential oils going. Reduce your caffeine intake if you're sensitive to caffeine.
Yes.
Do some writing, whether that's journaling, whether it's making a list, whether it's doing a gratitude practice, whether it's just stream of consciousness, whatever works for you, just write it down and get it out.
Yes.
Chew some gum.
Chew some gum.
And feel free to smack your gum because that makes you less stressed.
Just not around me. I don't particularly like that.
You know, I am very good about chewing with my mouth closed, and I don't smack when I eat. But when it comes to gum, it's one of those things that I just can't help it. I want to chew the hell out of it. And maybe that's because I do suffer from anxiety. I don't know.
Makes sense.
So I really have stopped chewing gum pretty much in general, but especially in the workplace because I don't want to appear rude. So maybe if you're going to smack some gum, go outside.
I was kidding. You can chew that gum.
So we've also got, let's see, here we go. Time with your family and friends.
Big one. Big one.
You're going to laugh with them.
Yes.
And you're also going to learn to say no.
Yes. Yes.
Which is a big one.
Yes.
And while you're doing that, you're going to avoid procrastinating.
Mm-hmm.
So stop taking on too much, but stop waiting too long to do all the things.
Mm-hmm.
Those are both super important.
Agreed.
Do some yoga.
Yes.
And be mindful while you're doing it, and as often as you can. Cuddle.
Yes.
And listen to some soothing music while you're doing that.
Yes.
And perhaps even some deep breathing while you're doing that. I mean, I'm not judging.
Yeah.
Whatever you do, you. And then play with the pets.
Love it. Well, thank you so much, Hannah. I think that was a great article and an amazing outline. We have a really good conversation happening on social, so please check us out at YouSurance on all the social media channels, except for Twitter. Hello, YouSurance. And then, I can't stop plugging in it enough, but really learning what works best for you. Of course, we can listen to our bodies, we can do everything, but we do have the technology and the capabilities here at YouSurance to do this at a molecular level and to really understand what's making you feel stressed and how is that expressing and what are some easy wins, and not even easy, what are some scientifically proven ways to better manage your stress. And that is something that we do here at YouSurance that I just can't be more thrilled about.
Absolutely.
And I also feel in my heart that before you take care of other people, it really does start with you. And so stress is something that we've got to manage because otherwise we're putting our stress onto others.
Absolutely.
And so while we might be worried or anxious because of other things that are outside of us, be centered in you, discover you, figure out your report. And then when you are feeling better and you're at your best self, then that's when you can be the best for serving others and serving your community. And so I hope to keep spreading that word.
Yes.
You know, us at YouSurance, we're going to continue to try to say there's a reason we're telling you to get molecular, and it really, really is impacting and changing people's lives. And so I hope you guys really consider once again, come check us out, yousurance.com. We're going to be around. We stream every day live from 2 to 3 p.m. at yousurance.com/podcast. And so keep checking us out. Keep hanging out with us. Tell us your thoughts. We'd love your feedback. And
check out some of these tips today. I mean, it is National Stress Awareness Day. And so really, take that to heart and think about one thing you can do to make yourself healthier and happier by relieving a little bit of stress.
Love it. Thank you all.